There are places in America where people simply vanish. Not lost, not kidnapped, vanished. And what I'm about to tell you happened in one of the most visited national parks in the entire country. A place where millions of families vacation every single year. A place where something is watching, something is waiting, and something is taking people. This is the true story of the missing campers of Yosemite. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why park rangers refuse to work certain trails after dark. Let me take you back to July 2015. The Morrison family from Sacramento had been planning their Yosemite camping trip for months. David and Sarah Morrison, along with their 7-year-old son Tyler, arrived at their campsite near Half Dome on a Saturday afternoon. Perfect weather, clear blue skies, the kind of day that makes you grateful to be alive. They set up their tent, unpacked their gear, and decided to take a short walk before dinner. Just a simple 15-minute loop trail that thousands of families walk every summer. Tyler ran ahead like kids do, darting between trees, chasing butterflies. His parents could see his red jacket bobbing through the pines about 20 feet in front of them. Sarah called out to him not to go too far. David snapped a photo, and then Sarah bent down to tie her shoe. 5 seconds, maybe less. When she looked up, the red jacket was gone. David immediately called Tyler's name. Nothing. They jogged forward to where they'd last seen him. And that's when their vacation became their nightmare. Tyler Morrison had vanished completely in less than 10 seconds on a clear afternoon, on a well-marked trail with visibility in every direction. But here's what made seasoned park rangers go pale when they arrived. Tyler's footprints were clearly visible in the soft dirt of the trail. Small Nike sneaker prints heading forward. And then, in the middle of a completely open clearing with no rocks, no drop-offs, nothing but flat ground and scattered pine needles, the footprints just stopped. Not faded, not scattered. Stopped, as if Tyler had been plucked straight up into the air. The search began immediately. 40 hours of intensive searching. Helicopters with thermal imaging, search dogs, over 200 volunteers combing every inch of that area. They found nothing. No torn clothing, no blood, no signs of an animal attack. No trace of Tyler Morrison at all. His parents still visit that trail every year, still calling his name, still hoping. But the rangers who worked that case will tell you something else, something they don't put in the official reports. 3 other search and rescue volunteers reported seeing a tall, dark figure standing motionless in the tree line during the search. When they approached, it vanished. Not walked away, vanished. Now you might be thinking, this is tragic, but explainable. Kids wander off. People get lost. But what happened 7 months later made it impossible to ignore. February 2016. Curry Village, one of the most populated areas in the entire park. Cabins packed with tourists, families everywhere. At 2:17 in the morning, Multiple campers were jolted awake by the most horrific scream any of them had ever heard. A woman's voice, piercing, desperate, and then it cut off abruptly. So abruptly that several people would later say it sounded like someone had pressed a mute button mid-scream. Within minutes, park rangers arrived at Curry Village. They searched everywhere, cabin to cabin, trail to trail, complete silence. No one was missing. No one had screamed. At least, no one was admitting to it. The rangers were about to dismiss it as a nightmare, or maybe an animal, when the sun came up. Cabin 14, on the eastern edge of Curry Village. The door was closed, locked from the inside. But when rangers looked closer, they saw something that made their blood run cold. Long scratch marks gouged deep into the wooden exterior, starting at about 7 feet high and dragging downward, like something had been trying to claw its way in, or something had been trying to claw its way out. They opened the door. The cabin was empty. The bed was made, but the tent that had been set up inside the cabin for extra sleeping space was shredded, torn to ribbons. And on the ceiling, more scratch marks, deep ones, impossible ones, because the ceiling was 12 feet high. No one ever came forward to claim that cabin. The reservation had been made under a fake name with a prepaid credit card. To this day, rangers won't assign anyone to cabin 14. They tell tourists it's under maintenance. It's been under maintenance for 9 years. But here's where it gets darker. Because park rangers started comparing notes, started pulling old incident reports, and they found a pattern that goes back decades. Multiple ranger logs from the 1990s through today describe the exact same thing. A figure, always seen at dusk or just after dark. Impossibly tall. 7 feet, maybe taller. Completely black. Not wearing black. Black, like a shadow that learned to stand up and walk. Rangers would see it standing between trees, perfectly still, watching. When they'd radio for backup, or even just look away for a moment, it would be gone, vanished. One ranger in 2003 actually tried to approach it. He described feeling an overwhelming sense of wrongness, like every instinct in his body was screaming at him to run. He got within 50 feet before his flashlight died. His backup flashlight died, and his radio went to static. When his refuses to talk about it, they started calling it the Shadow Man, always capitalized in the reports, like it deserved a proper name, like it was something real and documented. And the rangers who've seen it all say the same thing. It doesn't move like a person. It glides. It flickers. And it's always near places where people go missing. Which brings us to October 2018. A hiker named Marcus Chen went missing on the Mist Trail. Experienced hiker, former Eagle Scout, had summited mountains all over the world. He'd told friends he was doing a solo day hike and would be back by dinner. When he didn't return, search and rescue went out at first light. What they found made absolutely no sense. On a flat granite rock near Vernal Fall, they discovered Marcus Chen's clothes. All of them. His shirt was folded perfectly, pants folded and placed on top. His socks rolled together. His hiking boots placed side by side like someone had arranged them for a department store display. His wallet, his phone, his keys, all stacked neatly on top of his clothes. Everything was there, except Marcus Chen. The search went on for 2 weeks. They found nothing. But here's the detail that keeps me up at night. Marcus Chen's phone was unlocked. The last thing open on his screen was his compass app, and someone or something had been using it repeatedly. The app showed dozens of readings, all taken within a 5-minute window. North, south, east, west. The readings made no sense. The magnetic north kept shifting wildly, spinning, like something was interfering with it. The last app opened before the screen went dark was the voice recorder. But the file was corrupted. All you could hear was static. Except 3 separate audio forensics experts pulled the same thing out of that static. Heavy breathing, not Marcus Chen's breathing. Something slower, deeper. And in the background, barely audible, a whisper. They enhanced it, cleaned it up. And the whisper said 2 words. Come closer. Now at this point, you'd think the National Park Service would be investigating this, looking for connections, warning people. But here's the thing. They are, quietly, because there's one more piece to this puzzle, one more location that ties everything together. About 6 miles from where Tyler Morrison vanished, there's a cave system, not on any official maps, not marked on any trails, but locals know about it. Rangers know about it, and they avoid it. Hikers who've stumbled across this cave report the same phenomena. Electronics malfunction. Phones die instantly. Cameras won't work. Compasses spin uselessly. And everyone, without exception, describes the same feeling. Like someone is standing directly behind them, close enough to feel their breath on the back of their neck, close enough to touch, but when they turn around, nothing's there. Just darkness, just silence, and that overwhelming urge to run. In March 2019, 2 college students found the cave. They were filming a hiking vlog when they discovered the entrance. You can actually find part of their video online before it was taken down. They're laughing at first, joking about exploring a creepy cave. One of them says his phone just died. The other one says her compass is going crazy. And then they go quiet. Really quiet. One of them whispers, "Do you hear that?" The camera keeps rolling. You can hear it now too if you listen close enough. Breathing, heavy and wet and wrong. And then one of them screams, "Something touched me." The video cuts to black. Not because they stopped recording. The file just ends. Corrupted search and rescue found them 6 hours later. Both alive. Both completely silent. Wouldn't speak, couldn't speak. They were treated for severe shock and hypothermia, even though it was 60 degrees that day. One of them finally spoke 3 days later in the hospital. She said they'd gone into the cave, said they'd felt something following them, And then she said something that made the doctor call the park rangers. She said they saw it. The shadow man, standing at the back of the cave. And when it moved toward them, they ran. But she swears, absolutely swears, that when they made it outside and looked back, the cave entrance was gone. Just solid rock wall, like it had never been there at all. The Park Service sent a team to investigate. They found the location based on the GPS coordinates from before the students' phones died. And they found the cave, or at least they found an opening in the rock. But their equipment wouldn't work. Flashlights died, radios went to static, and every single person on that team reported the same thing: the feeling of being watched, being hunted. They sealed the cave. Officially, it's a structural hazard. Unofficially, there's a note in the ranger station that says, "Do not approach, do not investigate, do not enter." But here's the twist that'll haunt you. Remember Marcus Chen, the hiker whose folded clothes were found? 3 months ago, a park ranger was doing a routine trail check near that same granite rock, and she found something new. Fresh clothes, folded perfectly, boots side by side, wallet and keys stacked on top. Everything neat and precise. She radioed it in immediately, ran the ID. The clothes belonged to a hiker reported missing in 2007, 12 years ago. The hiker who'd been presumed dead, whose case had gone cold over a decade ago. But the clothes were clean, freshly folded, like they'd been placed there yesterday. The Park Service hasn't made this public. They won't, because they don't have an explanation. They don't have answers. All they have are disappearances, patterns, sightings of something that shouldn't exist, and a cave that appears and disappears like it's breathing. Tyler Morrison is still missing. The woman who screamed in Curry Village was never identified. The Shadow Man is still being reported in ranger logs. Marcus Chen was never found. And that cave, wherever it is right now, is waiting for someone else to stumble across it. Yosemite is one of the most beautiful places in America. Millions of people visit every year. Most of them leave with nothing but happy memories and spectacular photos. But some don't leave at all. And the rangers who work there will tell you, if you're brave enough to ask, that the forest has rules. Rules we don't understand. And when you break them, something comes to collect. So the next time you're hiking in Yosemite, or any national park really, and you feel like someone's watching you, trust that feeling. And if you see a tall, dark figure standing motionless between the trees, whatever you do, don't get closer. Don't investigate. Just turn around, walk back to your car, and leave. Because some mysteries aren't meant to be solved. Some disappearances aren't meant to be explained. And some things in the forest are still hungry. And if you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit that like button. Share this video with a friend who loves creepy stories. And don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon, because this is just the beginning. The next story might be darker, and you won't want to miss it.